wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to really, really dig deep, and Derek gave me the permission and remit to do that. And so I thought, okay, what can I write about that actually I'm scared of writing? What is the thing that actually really bothers me that I would be really nervous to put out there? And this was the piece. And then lo and behold, with these kind of things, you do that kind of stuff, and then you say, okay, it'll just be this anthology, and it's called Safe. So no one else will get to see it really, in the sense that it'll be in a safe space, you know what I mean? And then, it won't go out into, like it might become a bestseller and stuff, but it'll be particular people who'll be reading it and da-da-da. And then the Guardian says, we want to serialize it and put it in that. And I was like, that's not what was meant to happen. And then I was super nervous. And I remember the day that it was going to come out, I really almost didn't want it to come out. I was that bothered about it. Published and stuff, and it's the most nervous I've ever been about a piece of writing that I've done. So I really tried to, dig deep and kind of challenge myself and put myself on and kind of, cross the boundaries into something where I wouldn't normally go. And I suppose it will make sense if you don't know the piece, if you don't know the essay, it'll make sense once I read it. It's called "And Me." I used to wonder if my reluctance was driven by shame or simply my incredulity at the nature of what had taken place all those years ago. Now, I think it is those things mostly, but it's also a hell of a lot more. Over the last few years, particularly in the recent crosswinds of our racial and cultural political climate, this life event bubbled to the surface of my memory, never quite boiling over. I've talked about it to a few of my close male friends, that's it. And I almost never mention it to women. So okay, I'll stop stalling and try to be as straightforward as I can. A few decades ago, when I was becoming a published author, I was discussing projects with various companies. In one, I dealt with a white male creative, and when he left, I was assigned to someone else, a white woman. I was overjoyed to be taken seriously at last, a bit starry-eyed from the blitz of media and publishing parties, both of which I was unused to. My new contact, charming and jovial, was full of great ideas and encouragement. We hit it off. We got to work right away. I'd travel into their offices a few days a week, full of excitement. I was in my early 20s, eager to change the world. We'd sit in a room together and thrash out story outlines. Almost right away, my editor began making personal comments that I found highly unprofessional. She had black women friends, she said, who would love me. She said I was cute, and sometimes when we were sitting at a desk side by side, she'd stare into my face when we were meant to be working. It was very unnerving. While I appreciated the compliments, which would occur every time we worked together, I began to feel a little uncomfortable in her presence. Not long afterwards, she suffered a small injury. There was a meeting due, and she called me up, insisting that I came to her house. Given what had been going on in the office, I wasn't that keen, so I asked if we could meet in a public place. She refused. We went back and forth until the conversation ended with her screaming down the phone, swearing at me, and insisting that I came to her house. I refused. The following day, someone in the company rang me up to inform me I'd lost the job. I tried to fight it, but there was nothing I could do. The whole deal collapsed. I knew what had happened to me was a commonplace occurrence for women, and I'd long felt outraged about that reality, but I quickly saw that there was no outrage for me. When I spoke to anyone about what happened, there was a sympathetic shrug, change the subject. I responded the same way the majority of people would in this situation. I let it go. It's clear to me that this incident is an example of white female privilege being used to dominate a young black man. I was perceived to have no recourse, no agency. I had to submit to being exoticized, and when I refused to reciprocate, I was punished. It wasn't the first time I'd seen this happen, and it wouldn't be the last opportunity I would lose because of something said about me by a white woman. To speak about this in a historical context, tracing the direct line from enslavement and colonization to the present day. To have an honest discussion about the fact that white women, who obviously face a white male patriarchal system of oppression, also sometimes use that patriarchal system to oppress those perceived as lower than them on the racial and social hierarchy. I believe we must.